Hello, and welcome to United Front, your source for all things New Mexico United, New Mexico runners, um, just good things in general. Obviously, I'm not the voice that normally starts this podcast. Our one and only Seth Bidoff is coming back from a trip where he popped a question and got engaged. Yay,
Yay!
Seth! So be sure to reach out to him and congratulate him on that. So tonight, you're in for a treat, just me and Christina. We got a lot to get to. It's been a fun week. I missed last week. I want to thank Christina and Seth for taking over. Christina, is the spring busy for you too? Because I feel bombarded right now.
Yeah, it feels like just sort of that final push to get to the summer when things start to kind of slow down a little bit. So I agree.
Yeah.
It's a little bonkers right now.
Like the kids have all kinds of stuff going on with school, and then we've got T-ball just started for two of them, and coach pitch for the third one, and we live in a small town, so all hands on deck. So I'm coaching
Oh,
both teams for some unknown reason. So Tuesday nights before I get here, Thursday nights for practice for one of the teams, and then all day Saturdays are. We were at the T-ball field from 8:30 to 2:30. This past Saturday, I have the sunburn. It's more of a tan. It's turning into more of a tan, but it's definitely a little darker than it was, which is
you're gonna have
nice.
to work on that.
Yeah, the farmer's tan is what it is. There's no, I can't working in a t-shirt for work as well.
Yeah,
It just is what it is. There's
it takes me back to when I was younger and playing soccer, and I always felt like I looked like I had dirty knees, but it
yeah
was just because of the tan
yeah
from playing
the
soccer
the
so much.
the socks came up to here and the shorts came
Yeah,
down. Yep.
yeah.
Yep. Space Kid, I missed you too, buddy. I missed you too. It worked out not having a match last Saturday after all. I had we had a match, and especially if we'd have won, I'd have suffered through and forced my way on, but I didn't get home. I didn't walk in the door till like 8:03 last Tuesday, and so it was just chaos. Josh and Justin, good to see you over there as always.
Yeah.
So let's get into it, Christina. Let's get into it.
Well,
So
and was it
that's
Christian?
Christian. Yeah, it's Christian.
Yeah.
So he posted that about an hour ago, it looks like. And so I'm
How
thinking
about them owls?
I'm thinking he hopped in there and then now because he's the one that's in Germany. So I think he hopped in there
Oh,
and then
yeah.
probably went to sleep. But if
Yeah.
he comes in, hey, Mama Christina, there we go.
Oh, she figured it out. She was trying to figure it out.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, Christina. So you guys talked last week. Obviously, we didn't have a match. So you guys previewed the North Carolina match.
Yep.
I've been too busy to even go back and listen. I tried to. I popped in the chat for a brief second, and then chaos ensued in my house. So with this North Carolina match, did it go how you guys thought it would go? Did you think they were going to park the bus? Because at this point, I think we should just expect teams to park the bus.
I didn't think they were going to park the bus. I thought, like, all right, we're going to have like a pretty good match. And I still wasn't confident there were going to be a lot of goals. Now, I don't remember Seth's prediction, but I think he was predicting more goals than I did. Honestly, I don't even remember my prediction. I want to say I said 1-0, just because that seems to be what we're doing this season. But yeah, I think Seth and I were both expecting North Carolina to be fast paced and really putting a lot of pressure on our back line.
Yeah.
And here we are, another match, another low block.
And I just don't know if teams are going to learn. All right, so hold on. Okay, now say it. Say it. Hi.
Hi.
Are you going to bed? No. Yeah, you are. Can you say good night?
Night night.
All right, love you. All right, you want to blow a kiss? There we go. All right. Love you, Moo. Bluey, yeah. She got new pajamas, so she's all excited.
Cute.
So
they did it. Christian says the Owls.
Oh, nice. Set. Christian is back. Who did they play?
Poor Harry. San Antonio.
Was it San Antonio? Oh man.
Yeah.
See, we walked in the door about 7:30, and then 8 got the kids to bed, so I haven't even had a chance to check on anything.
Yeah, and it looked like who Who was it? Lucity played
Lucy
Tormenta? Played
City was playing Loudon, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, Loudon. Okay. Somebody really tormented Tormenta. I can't remember who it was.
That's
It was
clever.
not a pretty
That's clever.
scoreline.
Let's see here.
Who was
I
it?
will
Oh,
pull it up
Battery.
right now.
Maybe it's Battery.
Oh, Charleston. Yeah, Charleston
Yeah.
4-0.
Yeah.
All right. Lou City won. Rhode Island won. North Carolina won. Okay. All right. So
I liked the Battle of the Badges between Rhode Island and
Portland Hearts. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Curious to see what our buddy Shadow Wolf thought of that one. He covers Hearts of Pine now, so that'd have been a good one. So back to Saturday. None of us made it out to the lab, unfortunately. It seemed like a pretty good crowd, 10,000 plus again. And North Carolina parks the bus. We get a late goal. Thomas Among makes his debut, gets the goal. He wasn't on for very long. What would you think of Among in his limited time? And were you happy to see his debut there? Obviously, the goal was incredible, but just him in general, getting some run, getting out there. To me, that was awesome.
Yeah. What a cool debut too at the lab. Fun to see him celebrating with the whole squad. And then he promptly gets taken down, gets back up, and then gets taken down again. But I thought, oh no, we can't have this again where we finally get this like big player to finally play and then something happens. Right. But he looked like he was he bounced back pretty quick both times. I liked him. I thought it was pretty fun. I liked his energy. I liked his drive to the ball. I thought it was pretty cool that he got the goal. It was kind of like a little bit of a garbage goal. Good job on Will's part, to keep at it.
I saw some mention of Will over in New Mexico United Nation. Just they hope. I can't remember who it was. If you're listening, let me know. But whoever it was said that they want Seymour to retire with United and play the rest of his career here because they just love his energy and his effort and his passion. And I truly feel like this move out to that right back position has revitalized him so much. And I'm kind of coming around to like, yeah, he's like, I don't know how you take him off the field right now. And then is not what I was saying at the beginning of the season. And so
I miss seeing Tony, I miss seeing him play. But I'm enjoying seeing Will play a lot too.
Yeah. And so, he's just, there's been several players that have stuck out to me from an effort, willpower, passion standpoint. And Seymour is definitely one of them. We talk about Among. To me, so admittedly, I skimmed through the first half. I did watch the whole second half. The shots and stuff weren't there necessarily, but it did look like we had more purpose with the ball a little bit, and we had some new ideas, some new things going in there that weren't necessarily the same old that we've seen against teams parking the bus. So we've got 4 wins in a row against teams that parked the bus. Vegas wasn't as deep as the last 3 have been, but I think we're just getting better against that. So surely these teams will stop, right?
I don't know. I did say last week, I told Seth that I had read somewhere, maybe it was the USL show. They were talking about last season that's what teams were doing against Sanchez, that they figured out how to play against Sanchez. And so it's just a continuation of what do we do against a team that's coached by Sanchez. So I don't know if we're going to continue to see it, but I'm glad to see our squad, playing creatively, trying new things, driving the ball. I'd like to see more than a 1-0. I'd like to see more goals, but maybe with time, they start to figure out how to just, if teams park the bus, how we can torture them with that choice.
I think we're going to see it a lot here, right? With the altitude drink and whatnot. It seems like teams are going to come. They might come at us for the first 10, 15 minutes and try to get a quick one. but then they're not going to wear themselves out, and they're going to sit back, and they're going to wait, and they're going to try to break on the counter and make us break them down. To me, the key to us kind of getting out of that, yes, we've won for 3 matches in a row against that, 4 if you count Vegas, which I half count Vegas. But the last 3 specifically have all been 1-0. But those goals have all come late.
Yeah, I think
if we score in the first half, that'll force the teams to open up.
Yeah.
And then we can have space to operate, whether it's on the break or just by them having to push the issue and us being able to find pockets in between lines and break lines down and stuff like that. So I think everything that we've seen is a great sign. Being able to get these 4 wins, 3 clean sheets in a row. Let's give it up
cool.
for the back line. Now, yes, on the counter, teams score on the counter all the time, but I still stand by it's hard to score when you have the ball for 30% of the time. It's just your chances are not going to come very often. And we've had a back line. Kaylin Ryden, team of the week for the 2nd straight week.
Yay.
I think Talon should have got some love one of those 2 weeks, but Ryden is the name that everybody knows outside of New Mexico anyways. And so he's going to get some publicity when we have 3 clean sheets in a row. And I'm okay with that as long as somebody on the defense is getting recognized.
Yeah.
But
Talon on that USL analytics account on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
He's consistently like top performance out of the whole squad, his numbers.
And so I'm the defense isn't being asked to do a whole lot. But one thing that Kaylin and Maples are doing very well, in my opinion, I mean, constantly, they're inside our half. And they've got a ton of space behind them that if we give up the ball, they got to cover. And you saw like the one great chance that North Carolina had, Tambakis comes out and shuts down the angle. But I think Kaylin and Maples, to an extent, has done a good job of taking away a cutback and forcing that player towards the touchline and letting Tambakis come out without the fear of that player being able to go far post.
Yeah.
And Tambakis can come shut off that angle to the near post, not worry about the far post because there's another defender right on that guy's heels, and just shut that down completely. And it seems like it's not an accident that that's what they're trying to do on those breaks. And so I got to give credit to them, both in possession and getting back and defending. Maples and Ryden have been fantastic. I think we see some Herbert tomorrow, which we'll talk about here in a little bit.
Yep.
And I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Herbert, every 2 or 3 games. Yeah, we'll talk about the offense some here in a second. I was thinking more just that back line, how because Ryden has looked really good, but I would expect him to at least get a breather here every once in a while with Herbert coming and stepping in. No Gloucester still though.
Yeah.
And we were told at the home opener, me and you, that it was a minor issue, should be back next week. The next week comes, he's still not back. Okay, I could see that another week, no big deal. But then we missed the Colorado Springs match. We get that week off and come back this week. He's still not there. How concerned are you that he has not been in the lineup? And how do you think Jalen's fit in or filled in over on the left for him?
My thinking is it's just really competitive. I think it's hard to get on the pitch. It's like Justin said, these guys are fighting for time on the pitch. I agree. So that might be the case for Gloucester. Hopefully that is the case. And I really enjoyed Lindsay on Saturday. He stood out to me. I feel like he's really finding his path and how he fits into the squad. And he's a fun player to watch.
So
it's a good problem to have.
It is.
If that's the problem. Hopefully that is the situation.
I think he's probably still a little dinged up. But because Jalen's been playing so well, because Seymour's been playing so well, I'm assuming that is why they've been holding him out. I'm hoping that's why they've been holding him out. Not that he's had to be out, but because he's still like kind of touch and go. And we've been playing good enough that they don't feel like they need to force him back. I'm curious if maybe we've lost both of these last two games, or at least one of them. If it's a different story, if they're seeing that as a weak point, maybe then we see him. But because Jalen's filled in so well, Seymour's locking down the right still. The center backs are doing their job. Maybe that's why he's kind of been held back just a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Who else stuck out to you there? Because like I said, I watched the second half, and I have some guys that stuck out to me in the second half. But was there anybody for the whole match that really stuck out to you that would be maybe not your man of the match? Most of the time, if you score one goal, the goal scorer is your man of the match. So give me somebody that's not among that you would consider your man of the match.
Well, my first answer actually is a player that stuck out to me the first half, but not for good reasons. I feel like he was really struggling, and that was Vargas. I feel like Vargas was just kind of off the first half. Things started to click a little bit better for him near the end of the second half, but that's when we started to see things happening.
Yeah, you and Christian disagree apparently.
Oh, he seemed off to me that first half. I don't know. Some bad passes, bad turnovers. And I feel like he's been so pivotal for us that it stood out to me. But then he kind of found his groove, and I believe he was a big part of the lead up to finally getting that goal.
He was in there somewhere. Yeah, I think everybody kind of was in there at some point on that. But yeah. He comes in on loan. He doesn't do anything last year really for us to speak of. They announce he left, and then all of a sudden he's back. And I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't expecting him to be a starter for the first 5 matches and pretty much play 90 every time. But he has been very impressive, even if he had an off first half. Uh-huh. And to Justin's point real quick, he said Akale felt off to him. Akale has felt off to me for a while. I wasn't he still has the talent and the quickness and the skill on the ball to make a couple plays every match that you're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
But as a whole, the last I can't speak to him this match, but the 2 matches before, he's been kind of meh.
It sort of reminds me of Santi, in that just streaky. Like really like streaky, like driving, like the heart is there, the desire, the passion, but it's just like not happening. Like getting sort of like losing the ball, getting shut down, sort of. And you can visibly see when he gets subbed off, like he does not want to get subbed off. He wants to stay in there and keep fighting. That's what it makes me think of as Santi.
Yeah.
But similar to Santi, when he's hot, it's fun to watch. Yeah.
For sure.
So Akale can be just a spitfire and really dangerous when he makes those connections.
And I go ahead.
I was going to just say, Christian had said he thought Vargas had done a lot. I was watching from the perspective of on the camera, so maybe it looked different. Although Christian's in Germany, so
yeah,
he was watching the same perspective as me.
Right. I feel like we are so far. We're still sticking with that. The team as a collective is the superpower, and no one person is like jumping off the page and making all the differences. We've got Vargas doing it. We've got Gaines doing it. We've got Fernando doing it. Amon comes in and scores. Hurst was really good to start. He's kind of slowed down. And so it definitely does feel like we are united, no pun intended.
You see it in the celebrations too, the goal celebrations. Like they just seem like a really cohesive squad. Except, I don't know.
So you bring up the goal celebration. There's a real big sports writer, sports personality named Bill Simmons. And he often refers to himself as the body language doctor. And
Uh-huh.
so he goes to a lot of basketball games specifically, and he looks at the benches and how they interact during timeouts and this and that and the other. It's something that I like to watch when I'm there in person, and I don't have to watch with the cameras watching. But this one, like I said, I wasn't there. I had it in the rundown. You said you were interested earlier, but the body language doctor
Uh-huh.
thing for me was I was concerned about Among not having played, that it was either going to be injury and fitness that was keeping him out, or he was not quite fitting in because we hadn't seen him hardly at all,
Right.
right?
Yeah. It's
I'd
a
seen
lot
a
of where's
couple,
Among, where's Among.
right? I had seen a
And
couple
he had
pictures of him
right.
with teammates, but hadn't seen him interact. I don't have a concern anymore because the way the team celebrated that goal,
Yeah.
they were so freaking happy for him.
Yeah.
And so those little things like that sometimes I read too much into them. Although I will say, you flash back to not last year, but the year before Quill got there, right? There were some personalities on that team, and Swahi was one of them, where if something went wrong, there was not a whole lot of like, hey, it's all right, we got this, pick your head up. It was, what the hell are you doing? How could you do that? Come on, whatever. A lot of hands getting thrown up when another teammate would make a mistake.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And obviously you're going to get that sometimes. Akale is really bad about it on this team. Akale, if he doesn't get the pass when he thinks he should get the pass or something like that, he will kind of. There was a play last year where a ball was coming across to him, and Osu kind of cut it off and fired a shot. And he was not thrilled about that. Which is understandable. And he's not like I don't. By no means am I saying he's a problem. I just notice it more from him. Of course,
Justin, I agree, Alex.
Having sat behind his goal though, because every once in a while I'll do that. I'll stay at that north end, even when we're attacking towards the supporter section. And I've seen goals scored on Alex, and his body language is terrible, but it's almost always aimed at himself.
Frustrating. Well, I'm thinking specifically of when Maples picked up the ball.
That was,
but you can't fault him for that.
And
Poor
so
Maples.
So one thing that I'm gonna keep doing is trying to pick up on these little body language things that I see, especially with home games that I can make it out to, and see who's fitting in, who might not be fitting in, because I do feel like there were some players in the past that didn't fit in, tried not to fit in. Hosu was one of them, if I'm being honest. Hosu was definitely not a rah-rah type guy, was going to come in, take care of business, was going to go home. It seemed like anyways. But it's something that I think is very important when it comes to this team in particular and having that collective. And so keep an eye out for that, because to me it's a fascinating to watch.
Yeah, I think so. I had talked maybe last week about I've watched a couple of the Weehan podcasts where he had like Caitlin on, and I think it was
Hurst.
the Caitlin one where Hursty, yeah, it must have been the Hursty interview where he talked about really being hyped to see the squad celebrating together. So I think it's kind of made me a little more dialed in on just like the team dynamics and watching other teams celebrating and not seeing that kind of cohesion and full squad joy in celebrating that player.
Right. One last player I want to touch on, Gideon. He had looked a step slow, a step out of sorts. Him and Jabang are playing the opposite roles that I thought they were going to play. I thought for sure Jabang would be the one that sits back like a Hosu and is just a destroyer of worlds right there in front of the back line. And Space Kid talked about Gideon a lot when the signing was first announced. because he knows a lot more about him than I do, obviously. And he was saying that, correct me if I'm wrong, in Space Kid, but that the 6 wasn't necessarily his best position. He'd much rather see him up at an 8 role or in a double pivot where he's not the lone guy back there in front of the back line. I think he's looked fantastic there. He's not. I'm curious to see what it looks like against a team that is actually attacking and trying to attack.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the attacking that is going on right now against United is Kalen and Maples running back, snuffing it out, and then we have the ball again.
Yep.
And so,
or sometimes a direct kick where, there's some little kerfluffle.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot of, he's not being asked to do a whole lot in that spot right now. So I'd be curious if that switching him and Jabang right now is because of that. And and we're knowing that teams are going to sit back on us, or if that's how it's supposed to be no matter what. And so when we get a player that's attacking or a team that's attacking, I'm very curious to see if they switch back or if it's an adjustments that's made mid-match or something. But at the end of the day, another 1-0 win, 4 wins in a row, 3 clean sheets in a row, sitting in second place in the West. I mean, I don't know. You really can't ask for anything more, in my opinion.
Yeah. I feel like it should have been 5 wins because I feel like that first match out the gate, it just immediately put the squad at a disadvantage with Kalen getting that red.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
They still almost pulled it off, like it wasn't just like a blowout with Sacramento. So I don't know. Right. I feel really, really happy with our guys.
Yeah. And you talk about the West now. You talk about that Sacramento game. That Sacramento game, since then, 2 teams going in completely opposite directions. Sacramento is now sitting 10th outside of the playoff picture. They have 5 wins in 5 matches. We're their only win, and it was a red card that was questionable at best. I love to see it. I know Christian loves to see it, right, Christian? And then who would have thought Monterey Bay?
Right,
would be at the top.
It wasn't me. I'm like I said, I don't remember my rankings, but I am definitely not winning.
I'm almost positive that all of us had Monterey Bay out of the playoffs. I'm almost positive I had them dead last. And so that's who would have thunk that? San Antonio starts off hot, loses a couple matches in a row. Were you on the pod when Harry was giving me shit about Miami?
Yeah.
So
poor Harry.
Harry, of course, isn't coming on, even though I told him he had to come on if they lost to Miami. But that's okay.
Now he's lamenting his Open Cup loss.
He's just licking wounds left and right. 2 losses in the league and now an Open Cup loss. Speaking of Open Cup, let's check in on some live Open Cup scores over here. Right now, we only have 1 match going on right now. Orange County SC up 1-0 on AV Alta FC. You mentioned San Antonio's loss. Union Omaha beats them. Charleston beats South Georgia Tormenta 4-0. Rhode Island beat Portland Hearts of Pine. Red cards on both sides in that match.
Oh.
And then, where was I?
Tacoma's about to start. Who are they playing, Justin?
Oh yeah, Tacoma starts. Tacoma plays Oakland Roots here, coming up at 8:30.
Okay.
Should be starting now. Lou City beat Loudon, and Riverhounds beat Columbus Crew 2. So far, we have one USL team not making it. I guess 2 because Loudon, but they played another USL team that doesn't really count. And that's San Antonio. So pour one out for Harry. He's having a rough go. And we'll see what happens with Oakland and see if Orange County can hang on. If any of them, I wouldn't mind seeing AV Alta come back and win that one against Orange County.
For AV Alta for sure.
Yeah, I think they have a special place in both of our hearts, seeing as they had they had fans show up in AV Alta gear to root against LAFC when we were there for the Open Cup last year. So hope for some cup magic there. Anything else around the league that's sticking out to you, Christina?
How about Phoenix?
Yes, thank you.
Love to see that.
I mean, what in the world there? Up 2-0 going into the 87th minute, and then is losing 3-2 by the 91st minute. Just giving up 3 goals in 5 minutes. I don't even know. It's safe to say
to a nicer club.
Yeah. For sure. I think it's safe to say that all of our rivals are down just a little bit right now. And it was like this last year. Early last year, there was a time where Colorado Springs, Phoenix, and El Paso were like 10, 11, 12 in the West.
Yeah.
And we're not quite there yet. As I had the standings up, it is Colorado Springs, Sacramento, Rising, and then Roots. El Paso is lingering. They are sitting 6th, but they just have 8 points in 6 matches, so they're not lighting the world on fire anyways. I will say...
well, they lost this weekend on Sunday.
They did lose this weekend to Birmingham, who fires their coach and then all of a sudden wins 3-1. Just like several people have been saying. I was one of them. Harry, of course, was like the leader of the hype train of the fire their coach and move on. And sure enough, they finally make that move. And here we are. They get a win. And who'd have thunk that, right? To the last thing, looking at the leader of the 2 leaders here, Lou City and Monterey, or Loudoun and Monterey Bay, just, I mean, like everybody predicted, right? Like, I'm going to fudge our things and say if that's how it finishes at the end of the year, we're going to say we called it and we're just going to move on, because that is insane
something
to think about that. I just don't understand. But no, results have gone our way so far. We are sitting currently in 3rd, tied with San Antonio, but we have a match in hand over both San Antonio and Monterey Bay. Monterey Bay is only a point ahead of us. And then we get a little bit of a time off here. We play El Paso coming up in the Open Cup tomorrow, and then we don't play again until the following Wednesday against Monterey Bay.
Yep.
And so, hey,
look at that.
Seth,
he's in. He's here. He's here. He's not.
Seth coming at you from a dungeon. Seth, first of all,
back in the 505, Seth.
Back in the 505. Just got in my car.
All right.
Getting ready to head back to the house.
Good. Well, first, I want to congratulate you on a New Mexico United win. I'm just kidding. No. Congratulations. I broke the news earlier. We already talked about it a little bit. That's explaining why you weren't here. But happy engagement. Love it for you guys. Excited. How you feeling? Were you nervous?
Well,
shaken?
Right. Yeah, thank you. Officially engaged. Melanie and I just spent last week together and proposed to her on Thursday night. So yeah, it's been a good weekend. We're already looking at stuff, and I'm glad you're here, Jacob. I'm glad that you were actually able to make the show this evening. Because I'm going to ask you here live on air. Would you be my best man?
Oh shit!
Oh
yes,
yeah,
of course, buddy.
Sweet.
Oh,
very
man,
cool. Yeah, so it's going to be a minute. That way, and of course I know that with you and Allie and the kids, give you guys, bring the kids, don't bring the kids, up to y'all. But it will be somewhere on the East Coast. We don't know where yet, but
okay, all right, yeah, man, heck yeah,
very cool. Love it.
Totally derailed the show. I don't even know what to say now. So we've talked about the match. We've talked about. Are you going to stay on, or are you going to drive home? I don't want you driving and podcasting. That sounds dangerous.
What? None of us would ever.
I do not do it all the time.
Right?
Allie just said I did it all the time. That is not true. I've done it like twice, and so Just want to. I haven't done it all the time. Just want to throw that out there. So I missed your response. I apologize.
No. We'll sit down. We'll chat for a minute, and then I will do the safe thing and not have my video on while I'm driving.
Good. Talked about the match already. Another team sitting back. Another 1-0 win. Does that change soon?
No.
Okay.
No, unfortunately it doesn't.
Good.
And we've talked about it. We've talked about how these teams are going to play against us, and we've seen it now 3 consecutive matches at the Lab. Teams are going to come in, they're going to park the bus. El Paso sat 11 behind. North Carolina's now sat 11 behind, and it's just going to be a consistent thing. United has to find a way to break it down. We did not do that in the first half. I mean the stats bear it out. You have 3 shots, 1 on target for the entire first half. You already know what they're going to do. You know what they're doing come into the second half. And the problem with the first half to me is I think we got away from playing direct way too soon. That worked well, except for Akale. If not for Akale, if he had gotten his head up, if he'd made some decisions a little bit quicker, I think we have some opportunities there in the first half. Playing direct worked. I get it. We want to be a play out of the back possession-based team. Fine. But when you're doing that, it allows teams like North Carolina and El Paso to come in and park the bus for 90 minutes. So you have to be more creative. You have to be more attacking. You have to be more direct in order to get those opportunities. Again, had Quele been a bit better with his touches, had he had his head up a bit, I think you got some opportunities within the first half hour of this match to really put United up ahead. And I think we have the players to do it, but we're going to keep seeing this over and over and over again throughout the season when teams come into the Lab. Again, historically a tough place to play. This is what we're going to get.
To me, I wonder. Sorry, I completely botched that muting of the mic there. To me, so I was telling Christina, I didn't watch the first half in great detail, so I don't know if this was the case or not. But I do know that Miami and to an extent El Paso, not really El Paso, but a little bit, they did come out and they seemed like they tried to score early for the first few minutes. And then they were like, okay, no, we couldn't get one right away. We're not going to burn ourselves out against this team. Let's sit back now. So I wonder if that didn't play into last night or Saturday night, us having to change from going direct to playing it out of the back more, because the team that we're going up against might have been pushing for a little while and then decided to switch tactics and just go, nope, they have the ball. Everybody run back to the box. I don't know if that was the case or not, but it's something to keep an eye out moving forward to see if that's what switches up. I personally do think we haven't got to the El Paso preview yet for tomorrow night. I think because it's not league play, because El Paso already came here and lost, we may see a different tactic, a tactic that they deployed in the preseason match of a more pressing style, more trying to get on the front foot, just because it's not going to hurt them in the league and they don't really have anything to lose at this point. They've kind of got the monkey off their back with the U.S. Open Cup wins already. So we might see it there. In the league, you're right, though. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Monterey Bay is the next league match in a week and a day. And I do think they come here. I think they came here last year and pretty much parked the bus. But yeah, it's frustrating, but expected. What else around the league, Seth, this weekend? We touched on a few of them. Did you watch? I know you were busy. Too busy to play a game called Guess John Morrissey's Power Rankings. But
hey, I nailed it first try.
You did. Did you watch any other matches this weekend, or at least see some results that stood out?
Didn't watch any other matches. I was afraid I might give some cats a heart attack. because they've never been around a sports fan.
Ah,
So, well, they've never experienced a sports fan, I should say, in the middle of a sports season. So, yeah, during both goals, both Sergio's that got called off, and then obviously the game winner from Thomas Among, the Cats went scrambling due to a very
good,
loud person in the room.
good.
But I didn't.
And with
I
the
think
very
the
loud
watching
person,
thing, I did kind of catch up on stuff. I was in the airport today.
that
I
very
almost
loud
thought-
person that scared the Cats was obviously Melanie, right?
Clearly,
For sure.
Because you,
Clearly.
you
For
don't
sure.
care. The
now, I don't
robot
care at all.
soul.
I mean,
This
Melanie
is
knew how big of a moment that was for Thomas Amon.
yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah.
This is my impression of Seth celebrating a goal for United.
Exactly. That's all it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I caught up a little bit in the airport today, looking at some highlights and things like that. I mean, maybe the West isn't as good as we thought it was going to be. San Antonio obviously has some issues. I saw the score tonight, losing to Union Omaha in cup play. I really want to talk to Harry, see what happens here. But I looking at what's going on around the league. I mean, I still think Battery are too high. I think that they're not as good as people think they are. I think Sacramento's not as good. I think San Antonio may not be as good. I think Monterey Bay is certainly better than we all gave them credit for.
Yeah, we were talking about that. I'm relatively sure we all had them out of the playoffs, and I think I had them last.
Yeah. So Monterey Bay is doing everything right. Meanwhile,
Well, fair.
Oakland is doing everything wrong.
They did get a win. They got off the schneid this week.
Yeah,
they pick up a win. Not pretty necessarily, but
yeah, and then Rising giving up 3 goals in 4 minutes. Like,
Rising.
yeah. Yeah, I think we need to send out, CPS to some of these clubs to check on them and see what's going on. But, that's where I'm at after looking at the results and kind of catching up on everything. Like, the West is not as good as we had hoped it might be.
I don't know how we like that Detroit Phoenix match is a once in a lifetime kind of or once a season kind of mistake. We will only see a team come back from 2-0 to win in like the last 5 minutes, maybe once every couple seasons. And then as far as Sacramento, I just don't think they're good. I never have. But San Antonio, Miami just has San Antonio's number. And so for whatever reason, you just kind of take that one and you throw it out the window for some reason. I don't know. It's an interesting one.
I mean, you could, but yeah, you look at the way San Antonio has played this year, and we've talked to Harry about it. Like, San Antonio is not 100% there. We talked a few weeks ago about, are they peaking? Is it too early?
That was me. It was a joke. It was a joke, by the way. The peaking was a joke. They still have a new coach. They still have several new players to work in. They started off hot. They hit a road bump. I still think they're good. I still think they're going to be there. Still, when you look at the standings now, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Colorado Springs are 11 through 9, all sitting on 5 points. They would be tied for 7th right now in the East. And that's our second worst, or our second, third, and fourth worst teams in the West. Oakland sitting on 4 points. They'd be a point outside of the playoffs, tied with Rhode Island for 9th. I think overall, I'm not ready to abandon because we did shift quite quickly from the East is better than, maybe the West is better. I'm not quite ready to jump back to the East is better just yet, based on Phoenix and San Antonio's results. But the head-to-head, I'm pretty sure, is getting closer. I don't have those results in front of me right now. I haven't done the tally after this week's games, but I'll have that next week for sure. I just think
between the results last weekend and this weekend, it's certainly swinging back more even than it had been after the first couple weeks of the season.
Right.
And again, I don't think I want to say I never said the West was better than the East
I
in
did.
terms of
I will admit.
top to bottom.
Yeah, I
But
might have to.
I certainly think that when you look at the results so far, even with just within the conferences, I mean, you got Monterey Bay overperforming, and but beyond that, I mean, we're where we think we should be. San Antonio, I don't know where they're at. Colorado's obviously underperforming a bit. Oakland's underperforming. Vegas finally has a couple points under their belt. Right now the West is not what I thought it would be. I thought we would be stronger so far, but
I was trying to do a quick tally, but it's not going to work. Well, the league play is going well for us. At least we're sitting there tied for second, have a match in hand. Teams are parking the bus, and I think I was telling Christina that I think eventually we'll be able to figure that out in the first half. And I think if we can get a goal in the first half and force the other team to try to push, then that's, I think, when we start seeing these 2, 3, 4 goal outings come up when they're not parking the bus till the night or all the way through the 90th minute. If we can get a goal early and make them step out and try to push for something, then we can maybe get some space there. But we don't have a league game coming up for another week. We've talked about Open Cup matches already that are going on right now. And the slate continues tomorrow with New Mexico United hosting over at UNM Soccer Complex, El Paso. Second time they're coming already this season. It's like I said, I think they might try to open it up a little bit, but talk about two teams that have just a completely different track record in the Open Cup. El Paso doesn't get their first win in the Open Cup until this year. They came into the league in 2019 the same time we did. And so I haven't tallied it up, but my guess is we probably have about 12 more wins than they do in the Open Cup. And like I said, they finally get off the schneid I think they've won 2 matches now against lower opponents, obviously, with the way the structure comes up. What are we looking at tomorrow? Do you think because it's Open Cup, Christina, that they change things up? Or do you think it's more of the same and we've struggled to park the bus or we struggle to get through there? To me, one of the things why I think they might try to open it up is I do believe they play next Saturday. Double checking. Yeah, they play Colorado Springs in Colorado Springs. Hashtag elevation drink.
Elevation to elevation.
Yeah. And so I would not be surprised if it could go either way. They could either sit back because they don't want to expend energy, but then you risk going into extra time and then playing another 30 minutes of soccer. Or do they come out, try to get a goal, and then sit back and wait and wait and wait to try to recoup some energy, both not having to play extra time and if they can get a goal early and just sit back, that bodes well for them, I think. So what do you think they do coming out?
Oof. I don't know. It was a derby. They were early in the season and they parked the bus. But I think they got a lot of shit for doing that, even from their own fans. So I'd like to think that, Open Cup, different reasons behind your play tactics, a good reason to try new things, to give other players minutes on the pitch. So hopefully we see some different players and hopefully we see them actually giving it a go. Hopefully it's not a lot of chippiness and red cards and poor sportsmanship.
Yeah.
Those are the things I worry about.
Seth, what do you think?
I'm not looking forward to it, if I'm honest. No? Meh. Yeah. Like playing El Paso again. Meh.
Yeah, that was kind of a bummer. It was kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
I was telling, who was I telling? Josh, maybe? That for some reason, this year, for whatever reason, maybe because the Open Cup run last year was so magical, and this year playing El Paso is just kind of meh. If we were to lose a game or lose this game tomorrow, I personally would not be heartbroken about it, but I do still want to win, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm not nearly as like when we hosted El Paso for the home opener, like my stomach was in my throat like all day and all match until we won it. And this one, I so far, maybe it changes at kickoff, but right now I'm kind of just like, meh, whatever happens, happens.
Meh.
So Seth, if you're still there, what do you think El Paso tries to do?
Well, so that's the thing. Like, yes, we've seen them come in. They parked the bus already. They kind of gave us a few minutes of fight, and that was it. And we talked about it. It doesn't feel like a derby. It didn't have that intensity. Even with it being the Open Cup tomorrow, I mean, honestly, I think El Paso just tries to. I think they sit back. I really think they do, because I think that they are struggling still, and they want to try to find some sort of momentum to carry over into the league season. And I don't see them being terribly aggressive. I think they, if they sneak a goal early, or at some point and take a lead, then that's it. We will not see them come out of their half again. But yeah. I think they're searching. They're searching for answers. They're searching for a way to get everything on track and working correct. I know they picked up a couple points. They're sitting above the playoff line currently, but it's still not good for them. It's still not a good system. They're still not playing well. So right. They're going to want to find some sort of energy.
I think they've played. They did lose to us, and then they won 3 matches, including an Open Cup match in a row before losing Sunday to Birmingham. And I watched the Hartford match pretty good. I didn't watch Lexington. I did watch Ventura County. So I watched the 2 matches that they played after us, and they came out on the front foot and just looked better. Like they looked like a team that could theoretically play with us if they wanted to play with us, if they weren't pansies about it. And so I'm curious to see if I don't think if they're trying to find something, to me that says they should come out and try to find something and play, not try to find something by sitting back, because they're not going to, they didn't sit back against any of the other 3 teams that they played since they played us. So if 90% of their matches are going to be against teams that they're not sitting back, then if they want to get momentum, to me that says, well, then come out and try to play. And if you get your ass handed to you, you get your ass handed to you. But if you want to try to find something that might work against other teams, why not try it against us at our level and see if anything works against us? Then you feel really good about going and playing Colorado Springs and trying something. Unless you're just going to be a team that sits back from now on. But since that's not what they did after they played us the first time, I don't think that's what they necessarily want to do.
Yeah, I hope that they come in and they decide that they're going to use this as an opportunity to try new things and, like I said, give players minutes or change up the play, their dynamics. It's a good opportunity to do it.
So switching sides of the ball there, we know what El Paso is, right? We've seen them enough. We already played them. We previewed them. We previewed them as a team a couple weeks ago. If they come back and sit back, then it's going to come down to their keeper, which they should have. I'll be curious to see if they start Jamali Waite, who missed the match that when we played them here because he was on international duty, and how much of that missing him played into their sitting back that day. I think they would have even with him in that particular match, but a lot of question marks there, both with personnel and everything like that. We signed a 3rd keeper. We bring back Ford Parker, the club that announced that this morning.
Oh,
yes? Yeah.
Oh, I missed that.
I apologize, Christina. I thought somebody had put it in the chat.
Yeah, it was kind of a sneaky announcement. I saw it when I checked my email.
Oh, that's right.
I was like, oh, hey, look at that.
I didn't see it either. It was Justin that sent me a message about it. I still haven't seen the post, but but they bring him back. I did see in New Mexico United Nation that Justin himself had commented that he hopes it's just for some depth and it's not an injury. And Andy Hageman, who radio play-by-play announcer, part of the media, fairly plugged in, said that there wasn't an injury to Shakes or Tambakis. So to me, that means we won't see Tambakis suited up at all tomorrow. We'll see Shakes start and Parker will be on the bench, is my theory. I could be wrong.
I don't think so. I don't think that's the case. So do I think Alex will dress? No, but looking at the wording of the tweet of the announcement, Ford was brought back specifically for the Cup. And it talks about his performance in the Cup in the past. So, I would hate it for Shakes, but I would not be surprised if Ford gets the nod tomorrow.
Man, there's no way that a coach that has not had Parker on his roster, because Parker has not been here at all this year, there's no way that Sanchez starts a guy that, yes, he's not new to United, but he's new to Sanchez. There's no way he starts him against a USL Championship club with Shakes busting his ass and being Shakes. I just don't see it. I know I read the tweet. I read the email. I understand what you're saying. That, to me, would undermine Shakes so badly and possibly cause rifts that I would be shocked if that is the case.
My money is Alex has something personal. Like, I think Alex is just going to be out of town or he's got something going on and they're just pulling in Ford as a backup just in case.
That's my thought too. I wouldn't be surprised if Alex just doesn't suit up unless we get to like the quarterfinal. I wouldn't be surprised if Ford didn't come in just to keep Alex from having to suit up at all. Because when you only have two keepers, Alex is going to have to warm up. He's going to have to suit up. He's going to have to be there no matter what during these Open Cup matches. So adding a third piece that can be a backup, maybe get a spot start if Shakes is shaky, pun fully intended. But if Parker comes in,
if Shakes is your guy though, and you're not gonna if you're not gonna dress Alex, I mean, you've got the academy keeper. Call him up, put him on the bench. Like, that's all you like. But to go out and bring someone like Ford, who has performed well for us, to me, it rings kind of odd to do it that way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Ford. I think Ford is great. But I do think I agree. If Ford gets to start over Shakes, I think that's a massive blow to Shakes' confidence and does create a bit of a rift. But
I think the Parker signing makes sense in a couple different ways. We'll have some schedule congestion because I fully expect the team expects to beat El Paso anyways and move on. And so with this signing, there's no such thing, to my understanding, as a Open Cup signing that's like just for Open Cup. So Parker is eligible to play in any of our matches, presumably for the rest of the year, for 25 days or whatever his contract is for. And I'm not. Typically, we keep just two keepers. Lately, anyways, we had three back in the day for a little while. But I'm perfectly okay with having three keepers. And if Ford Parker is your third, who was our second for a year, over a year, then it just adds to the depth of this team. And yes, Tambakis is a guy that typically plays 90% of the matches, but you bring him in, you have Tambakis not dressed out at all for United or for Open Cup matches. And then on the off chance Shakes or Tambakis gets hurt or is a little worn out from some schedule congestion, then you have Parker there. And so it's strange. The timing of it, the wording of the tweet, everything like that is a little off. But I don't see him coming in and taking over a starting spot in an Open Cup match tomorrow, having just been announced today. But we'll see. And Andrew, yeah, we have carried 3 keepers in the past a couple times. Forta and Vitiello were like emergency keepers though, and Palmquist. I
Technically, we
think.
have 4 keepers right now. So
So yeah, we'll see what tomorrow looks like. Aside from keeper, Seth, what do you expect the lineup to look like tomorrow for United?
What I'd like to see Brucey get a start. I'd like to see Thomas Amon get a start. I'd like to see Zico back in the starting 11. There are things that I want to see. Do I think we see it? Probably not all of it.
So if you
got guys who haven't had a lot of run. I mean, Thomas Amon finally made his club debut the other day. So I think you have to give him the opportunity and let Hursty, give Hursty, a break with the match of the weekend. So,
so if you want
guys in there,
if you want Among and Bruce to start, in the past, Bruce has been a 9 as well. But if Among's starting, presumably he's the 9. If you want both of those to start, where do you want Bruce to be? Or do you want?
I think I want Brucey as more of an attacking mid, like a right mid, left mid, someone who's going to drop, either drop back and play almost that fullback role. Someone who can get forward and cross in from the box. You could even stick him underneath, but it's more of like a 10 or a 6. But you have to play Among centrally, I think, and then have Brucey play from out wide. I think that's the best way to do it if you're going to run both of them.
Christina, what about you? Do you anybody that Seth didn't name that you want to see or you think might start?
I don't know. I think, I'll be curious to see if we see Gloucester back in the mix, just to kind of ease him back in, or if Lindsay gets to continue to start.
I would expect Dubois.
Yeah, that
to
makes
get
sense.
Some run back there. Maybe for Seymour on the right.
Sub in. I could see Dubois subbing in though.
Possibly. He started against Lubbock last year. Of course, that's Lubbock, not a USL Championship side. No offense to Lubbock. Go Matadors. But he did start there. He made some starts at the end of last season in league play, for that matter. So he's seen this kind of quality competition. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a start and Seymour gets a breather, having played pretty much every minute of every match so far. And on the same vein, I wouldn't be surprised if Ryden sits and Herbert gets a start there. Or hell, who knows? Maybe Ryden and Maples both sit. Seymour slides into center back, and you see a Herbert Seymour center back duo, and give them a break. I don't know how much squad rotation we're going to be. We don't have a match Saturday, so they will have a full week to get by. But they did just play a match this weekend, so I expect a little bit of squad rotation. Overall, not a whole lot. Again, the depth on this team is crazy. So I don't know. I think we're going to see some good stuff. Christina,
I most want to see Brucey get minutes. Like, I miss getting to see Brucey play. So I don't know. I anticipate seeing him get the start.
I would agree. If my memory serves correctly, last year was similar. I don't feel like he was getting minutes super early in the season. And then he started against Lubbock. The post that I did for this podcast was the goal that he scored against Lubbock. And that seemed to spark him for the season and do some good for him in that aspect. So maybe we see that again. I do think that even though it's a USL Championship side, I don't know if we see the lineup that we've been seeing in league play. That would be what so far has been our A+ or starting lineup. I do think we see some rotation. I just don't know how much. So knowing all that or thinking about all that, Christina, will you be there tomorrow?
No,
I won't either.
I will not.
I'm a little bummed. Actually, I will be shooting my pistol and my rifle for work, so I'm not super upset about it, but because I love that aspect of my job. But I love the Open Cup. I love going to El Paso matches. El Paso matches are my favorite match to be body language doctor. But I won't be there. Seth, are you going to make it out there?
I need to talk to David, but potentially.
About the kids or about your pass? Because I don't have your pass.
Crossing my fingers.
And so, what the heck was that? I don't know if y'all heard that, but it was a kid's toy of some kind just went off and scared me.
Spooky.
Christina, what's your prediction?
I'm going to say 2-1. The good guys.
Okay.
Yep.
Dungeon
I know
Seth.
that's a lame prediction, but
It's okay. It's okay. It's better than
Yeah.
1-0. It's better than 1-0, which I believe is probably what Dungeon Master Seth is about to say. That laugh was even Dungeon Mastery, buddy.
I just don't trust what El Paso is going to do. I don't think they're aggressive. I think they do sit back. It's going to be tough. But I am going to call a first half-hour goal for us. I'm going to say, hey, I was right the other day. I was right about the weekend's match. So
yeah, I remembered that I had guessed 1-1 tie. I gave North Carolina more credit than I should have.
I'm going to say 2-0 us. And we do get an early goal this time.
Wow. And another clean sheet. Or the
Clean
mystery
sheet.
keeper.
Clean sheet. All right.
Andrew, I really hope we see just tons of shots on goal. That's all I ask for.
I mean, for United to have more shots on goal tomorrow than myself, they will have to shoot a lot. So I hope that that's what happens. We will have to see though, because I know tomorrow's going to be a long day out there. So I'll be putting some lead down range for sure. But I don't know. I have two different thoughts going on in my head. So we'll talk it out. Okay. I kind of already mentioned it. I could see them sitting back. I could see them playing the long game, trying to conserve energy that way. I don't think that's what happens. I think what happens is we do push forward, or they do push forward. They open it up. And I could see, similar to the preseason match, it being a little higher. And so I am going to throw a crazy thing out there. I'm going to say 2-2, and then we win in pins.
Oh, dang.
I'm going to go out on a limb here. I mean, I can't predict pins any other time, so might as well try here. And El Paso's a team that every time we play them, crazy things can happen. I think it's 1-1 after regulation, and then 2-2 after extra time, and then we go to pins, and we'll see what happens there. But
like Space Kids prediction. So hat trick for Easy.
Let's do it.
I'll get behind that.
I would love that. Justin, it's called reverse psychology, my friend.
Well,
so
I like the idea of just really tiring out El Paso before they have to go all the way up to Colorado.
Yeah. Just set them up for failure
Sure.
going up there. Josh over in the chat, hope Farolito sends sack packing tomorrow too. Looking
Yes.
at the Open Cup games tomorrow. Well, real quick, Tacoma scored, as was mentioned in the chat earlier. And Andy Thomas is in goal for Tacoma. I wish he would. I mean, I love Shakes. I love Tim Bacchus. Thomas was incredible
Thomas,
for us when he was here.
yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't
Now,
mind
is he
seeing him
being
come back.
loaned? Is
No,
he
so
being
to-
loaned down?
He plays for Seattle,
Seattle,
and so
right.
he that's their farm team over in MLS Next Pro. Because like them and then Ventura County, who El Paso beat last week, that's Los Dos, LA Galaxy 2. They just have a different name. So Tacoma's just it's Seattle 2. That's all it is. And so I don't know what his contract situation is really like, but it doesn't surprise me to see him getting some run there. He's excuse me, he's played for Seattle a couple times already this year. So
he had a great season last season.
He did. And so he's in goal for Oakland, which means or for Tacoma, which means Oakland's isn't going to score tonight. And then AB Alta and Orange County are it's still 1-0 going into halftime there. Tomorrow we've got some fun ones. Sacramento, El Farolito. El Farolito, the only amateur team still alive in this thing. A fan favorite last year, making some noise again this year. Good times. I think I believe. Let me double check today's scores too, just to make sure. Yeah, so they're the only amateur team left, which means they get $50,000.
Nice.
For being the last amateur team alive. The MLS Next Pro and League One, whoever's last man standing out of those ones, will get a $50,000 payout. If there's multiple teams eliminated in the same round, then they split it. Same with USL Championship. Whoever's last there gets $50,000. So, and that bumped up. I believe it was only 25 last year. So
yes,
that's pretty cool.
Was increased along with the overall prize pool.
Right. Other than that, tomorrow we've got 3 other USL Championship versus USL Championship matches. Obviously us, and then Tulsa versus Phoenix, and Indy 11 versus Miami. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 USL Championship versus USL League One. Tampa Bay Rowdies plays FC Naples. Detroit City FC plays Westchester SC. Colorado Springs plays One Knoxville SC. And Las Vegas Lights plays Chattanooga Red Wolves SC. So some fun things going on there. Not a whole lot of underdog stories. I think the USL League One teams they're not as fun of an underdog story. I don't think they're as big of underdogs going against USL Championship teams. Yeah. So really, I mean, I will do some unspeakable things for Farolito to beat Sacramento Republic. Honestly, I would love to see that. And so we got those games going on tomorrow. Other than Sacramento or Farolito, which I've already mentioned, any of those others stick out, or are they just kind of?
No, I'm excited for. I just want to see Sacramento go down. And I love the name of the Farolito team.
Oh, they're fun, man. They're so fun.
Yeah. I'm still holding out hope that AV Alta will pull off a cup set tonight.
I agree. It's hard to root for an MLS Next Pro side, but if I'm going to root for any of them, Tacoma is the one, with Andy Thomas being the keeper there for this match and probably a little bit moving forward. Looking forward just a little bit to this weekend, since we won't have a match or a podcast between now and then that I know of anyways. In the USL Championship, there's a handful of matches that I'm kind of curious about or interested in. Have you guys had a chance to look at the schedule for this? Or
I'm curious who Monterrey is playing.
So Monterey Bay travels to Lexington.
Okay.
Which is about as East Coast as you can get while still being in the Western Conference, of course. Sacramento has Phoenix, goes to Phoenix. So that'll be fun as to who blows a late lead worst there. It could just be like, we could see like 15 goals in the last 5 minutes of just like, oh, we came back. Oh, we got the lead. And then the next team go, oh, we're down. Oh, we gave up a lead. Oh, we're down. Okay. It could be chaos over there. Loudon and Tampa is always a good one. I mentioned earlier Colorado Springs and Locomotive, the two little brothers fighting for second place right now in the hierarchy of the little brothers or of the brothers. Some good ones there. I'll probably be watching. So Phoenix and Sacramento is a 2:00 kickoff here in New Mexico. So that'll be a fun. Where will I be? I will be at T-ball. So I probably won't be able to watch that one in full anyways. And I'm not
I'll
sure.
be at United in Our Abilities is this weekend.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I'll be there Saturday afternoon.
Speaking of that, Top Soccer wrapped up, right?
Yep, it wrapped up. Super fun. The kids all got awards and medals, and Jabang was there, Jabang, and Sergio. So super fun to just see them interacting with the kids and the kids just cracking them up. They have just the best humor, those kids.
Yeah.
So hopefully we're expecting to see some of the first team on Saturday this will be the first time that they will have a bye during the clinic. So good opportunity for them to come. Yeah.
Sweet.
But I think, I talked to Sergio afterwards and he seemed real bought in. He had a really good time. And so I was telling him, you got to come Saturday. So we'll see. Hopefully he'll show up.
Good. United did have one little announcement teaming up with UNM and the Lobos. Speaking of which, I got my cherry red jersey. It came in. It's looking nice. I got the field ready one, so it's got Tambakis on the back.
Perfect.
They announced it, teaming up with UNM Lobos Fans for Hunger or Fans Against Hunger. You'll be able to donate canned goods and non-perishable foods to go to good causes. You can bring those to United Games, select United Games, and select Lobo events coming up. I don't have the schedule in front of me. I believe Monterey Bay is one of them, but I could be wrong. So go check out United socials for the details on that. And other than that, guys, I think we're good unless you guys have anything else.
No, I'm good.
No. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for last week covering while I couldn't make it in. The chat, you guys were awesome today. Andrew, Justin, Josh, Space Kid, Jane,
Christian
was in there a little bit. You guys make it fun.
My mom.
For sure. Oh yeah. Mama Christina was in there.
Rosemary.
Just to let us know. Mama Christina. Had a great time. We will hopefully we'll be watching. I believe the matches are on Golazo, if I'm not mistaken. They're not going to be on YouTube anymore for this round moving forward in the US Open Cup. So you will have to have Paramount Plus or something like that to watch it, which I'm okay with, but I know some people get upset. So let's
get it, Justin.
Yeah. Whoa, Justin. Whoa.
Finish my sentence there, Justin.
We are a family pod, not really, but we are a PG-13 podcast at least, which I guess PG-13 is allowed one F-bomb. So if that's the only one, then we're okay. I just don't like the context with which that F-bomb was used.
I liked it.
Okay, good. So yeah, thank you guys. We'll be back next week. We'll talk about the El Paso match. We'll break down what happened around the league on Saturday, and then we'll preview Monterey Bay. And oh no, I had it and then I lost it. We play Monterey Bay and then we play El Paso again. We have another week off there, another weekend off. Oh, come on, guys.
Ugh.
That's not fun.
Boo. Although we were just complaining about how the spring is really busy for us. So I
We
mean, I
were,
guess
we
I'll
were.
take it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. But yeah.
Union Omaha for the
Oh,
Jägermeister.
okay. That's what it was. I knew we had a
Yeah.
home match.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So thank you, Andrew. Andrew, I don't know if you watch a lot of podcasts, but I need you to come on the podcast. I need you to be just in my ear. You don't have to be a front-facing figure if you don't want to. I just need you to be in my ear. And you are the producer. You are the guy that just fact checks us, feeds it to us. Think about it. Think about it. Because you're the guy that knows it. Like, I bet you kill it in United Trivia. I would love, Andrew, to actually have you on. Have Seth and Christina come up with some United related trivia, and then me and you go mano a mano. That would be a blast. Maybe some off season, maybe some off season something or off week something going on there. But thank you guys so much, Seth. Glad you made it back. Congratulations again.
Yeah, congrats, Seth.
Thank you.
I'm honored at the question that you asked me earlier. If you're new, if you just caught it tuning in, go back, listen to it again, and you'll figure it out. Yeah,
Christina, you will be getting an invitation as well. So
love it. I look forward to it.
So yeah, thank you guys so much again, Seth. Congrats, Christina. Awesome. I cannot stress enough how much I love adding you to the team and how good it's been. So you're trying.
It's good
no,
times,
Andrew.
for sure.
I feel like you're lying to me a little bit. Andrew. But
I think he's gonna try to pull one over on you.
He's hustling us. He's hustling me for sure.
He probably wins all of the trivia nights.
I know you were on the winning team at Bosky the other day because they posted it. So can't weasel out of that. Anyways, thank you guys so much. Tuning in next week, same time, same place. And until then, somos amigos.